Hey, welcome back to the Mr. Cander's Knife channel. Earlier today, I wasn't really planning on making a video, but I was watching a YouTube video by what is his name, Jay Shetty, and he was interviewing 50 Cent. It was an older video, but I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, hey, what would you ask someone if you were actually doing interviews? I don't know any famous people. I've met some, but I'm not an autograph seeker type of guy or anything like that. So it is what it is. But anyway, so I just decided to write down a few questions that I would ask if I did decide to interview somebody, so to speak. And so today, the person I'm going to be interviewing is myself. Of course, this is a knife channel, so most of these questions are going to be knife related. So anyway, here goes. So the first question I've got, I'm going to say, what is your first knife memory? My first knife memory, I'd say I have to boil it down to actually two, and I'm just I was kind of thinking back. It's like, well, all right, well, which one came first? So when I really think about it, I'd have to go with we used to have this old knife that we had in the kitchen, and it was actually it was one of those old mess kits from the military. I'm not sure if it was World War II, belonging to my grandfather, or whether or not it was my actual my father, who was in the in the army. I have no idea. We always had it in our kitchen. We used it like a kitchen knife, but one day, and I'm not even kidding about this. I was probably I had to be in kindergarten, and I had this little friend, and so we decided, hey, and I'm pretty sure it was my idea. It's like, hey, let's bring a knife to kindergarten tomorrow, and so sure enough, we both did, right? And so the knife I chose was that Army mess kit issue. I'll try to find a picture as close to it as I can. It was those stainless steel, flat blade, almost like a butter knife. Had the kind of the gray stainless steel or aluminum handle. I'm assuming it was stainless steel. It had US on it and had like a little hole in the handle. And so anyway, so we both brought him to school. He showed me his, I showed him mine, and I had mine kind of had it stuffed in my pants. Not in a pocket. It was too big. I was a little kid, so I actually like had it in kind of in my underwear. I'm guessing. I just remember kind of feeling a little, the both ends, in my in my pants. Anyway, crazy thing is that kid, somebody snitched on him, and he got in trouble. Took his knife, and for what I remember, I don't ever remember seeing him again. But I went with that knife in my pants all throughout that entire day, and got home, got away with it, and that was that. For me, that I think is my earliest knife memory. Let's see here. Number two, the oldest knife in my collection. I think if you've seen one of my probably my 100, no, not my 100 knives subscriber special, but it was anyway, it was one of the videos that I did to where it was kind of one of my thoughts. A buddy of mine walked down to the flea market and bought her knives, and he bought his, I bought mine, and we both we both had them. I held on to mine the whole time, and he ended up losing his. We found after his father died. So actually have both of them. The one up here is mine. I had that. I got that knife, and I was probably 10, and he was maybe 11. He was a little bit older, and we used to we lived in South Austin, and there was a flea market that was within walking distance. So we actually we walked. We would buy like different things, Garbage Pail Kids and green slime and Chinese stars and all that good stuff. But anyway, that was mine. I've had that all these years, and this was his. He had a little bit more money than I did, so he bought the slightly bigger knife. It's probably $1 or $2 more. So anyway, yeah, that's the oldest, at least the one I've had in my possession the longest. I'm not exactly sure if it's the oldest. I've got some that are that, aren't really necessarily dated. But anyway, that was that. Let's see here. Question number 3, how many knives do I own? I'm not sure. The closest I can get, I can kind of guesstimate, just looking at some of my, my knife cases and things like that. I'm the type of guy, I've got knives stashed in the living room. I've got some in my truck, my nightstand. But I'm gonna have to say, just as close a guess as I can get, I'm gonna say about 90, give or take. You know, let's see. I mean, I can't necessarily see all that. They go on and on. Blah blah blah. I've got other cases here, different things. And when I count the knives, I'm including, you can look at these too. When I count the knives, I'm including fixed blades that I've got, and just got a little case here, and it goes on, and those are the ones that I can really reach right now. And I've got a couple of swords too, machetes, all that. If you want to, most people don't see this angle, but yeah, I've got a lot. My collection is not as big as a lot of people's, but again, I give a lot of knives away, or I've given a lot of knives away. Some, over the years I've lost some, sold some, so that's that. So I'm gonna say about maybe 90, if not more. There are some that I just really don't think about, but I'll probably pull out a drawer and there's 2 or 3 more. So anyway, that's about it. That's roughly how many knives I have. Say the 4th question I've got here, and I've got 12 questions. Oh, by the way, before I go on, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. Now I can put out more videos, but if no one's watching, who's going to make videos that no one's watching? So anyway, if you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do. But let's see here. Number 4, the most carried knife of all time. There was one that I don't have right now, but again, it was a knife that I got from the flea market, and I had that knife for probably all through high school, and it was a screw-on. It was almost like a little dagger type of knife, but it was like a little brass casing. It was a keychain knife, and it would screw in to the handle. You take the handle out and screw it back on. So maybe 3 or 4 inches, tops, 2.5 inch blade. I lost that knife probably the year after I got out of high. Actually, I think I might have still been in high school. But we were all at the lake, cliff diving. Jumped into the lake with my doggone keys in my pocket. Lost my keys, my car keys, house key, and that knife. Lost it all at the bottom of the lake. Ended up having to all squeeze into my girlfriend's car. Probably 4 dudes and like three girls. We all squeezed into her little car, drove home, got my spare, and drove back. But I never did get that knife back. So that was my absolute most carried. So I'm gonna have to go with my 2nd most carried knife, and I'm gonna have to say it's this right here. It was almost a toss-up between this and my Benchmade Griptilian, or mini Griptilian. Carried this for many a year. It was one of my at the time, it's probably one of my most expensive knives. But when I really think about it, my little Applegate Fairbairn mini covert right here. This one I'd say I probably carried more so than the Griptilian. So not including that keychain knife that I had for years and years, and it was a piece of crap. It was a flea market knife. But I'd have to say this one right here I carried for probably the longest. Anyway, oh, and by the way, I actually do have the matching knife, the full size, or I think this is what just the covert. I've had this one just as long as the mini covert, but I really never carried this. Yeah, at the time, this was to me was what I considered too large to carry. Nowadays this is it's an average size knife, but this was one of those ones. I wouldn't say it's safe queen, but technically speaking, yeah, I guess it is because I've never used it, like never. I've played around with it. Great, man. Great knife. I'm not exactly sure if they make these anymore. I think they just might. But anyway, that's that. Most carried knife. Let's see here. Number 5. Got my most regretted lost knife. Can't necessarily say other than that one that I lost in the lake. I'd say that was my most regretfully lost knife. Probably my most regretted sale of a knife, I would say, was my it was the large cold steel what was it, Espanza or Espada. It was a large Espada. I had 2 of them. I had the full G10 one, the kind of the cheaper version, and then I had the polished one, the polished G10 with the silver handles and all that. I regret selling that one. I wish I like the cheaper G10 one. That one I wouldn't mind. I wish I'd kept the regular the fancier. Anyway, that's it. I don't know why I can't say Espada, but it was the large Espada, not the XL, but the large. And it was nice and well built. No, I'm not really what made me sell that knife. I instantly regretted it, but I sold it to a knife guy, a cool guy from San Antonio. He drove up all the way to where I live now, just south of Austin, and he bought it. So I know I know it went to a good home, and the guy really appreciated it, and he actually showed me a couple knives that he had on him, and including he had a Microtech, he showed me some pretty cool Microtechs that he had on him. So he was definitely a knife guy. So he came to show off as well as buy. So that was cool. So like I said, I regret it, but at least that knife went to a good home. Let's see here. Number 6, the knife I was most happy to buy. That one I'm not. That's tough. That's tough because it seems like every knife I get, I'm so happy. I know a lot of you knife guys know the feeling. It's like if you're not anything like me, like you sometimes you'll see a knife and it's just you can save up for it and blah blah blah, and finally it just comes. And so I'd have to say, speaking of Microtech, this was I think this was my most happy buy because I really like this knife. It's as a kid I've always had cheap little switchblades and things like that. I've got plenty of others, but to me that's the I'd say that's the coolest one. That was a grill knife. I like this little Boker automat Kalashnikov right here. If you can see that, this is a great little knife. It's a cool little auto. If you can see, it's S30V. I really don't see these anymore. I paid a little bit more for this one than most, as far as these little Boker Kalashnikovs. But anyway, that was a cool little knife. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go with my Microtech, my Ultratech here. Love that, double-sided. And crazy thing is, up until a few years back, it was illegal to have a double-edged knife, so I wouldn't have been able to even carry this thing around. Of course, now, House Bill 1935, here in the great state of Texas, I'm able to carry this legally now. Let's see. Number 7, the knife I was given that I'm happiest with. That one's is pretty easy. I haven't been given too many knives. Most of them I buy myself, and the others are usually pretty cheap. Currently on me right now, I've got 2 little bit, maybe three that I've actually been given. I'd say my older brother's not really a knife guy. My younger brother kind of is, gas station knife guy. But my older brother actually gave me this here. It's a SOG Aegis. I think this one is AUS 8. It's whatever. It's not really my style of knife, but I think he'd asked someone what was a good brand. Someone told him SOG, and so he got me that for a birthday. So that was cool. I appreciated it. I'll probably never sell it. I say probably. Let's see here. Another one that I've actually been given. I don't. It's now that I think about it, it's actually in my little bug out bag. It was a Gerber. I can't remember the name of it, but it's got like a little rosewood handle. It's got the gut hook on it. It's not really something that I really utilize very much. I'll hunt and all that good stuff, but I'm not really a gut hook using kind of guy. So I got that one in the bug out bag. It doesn't really fit in my cases very well. It's pretty fat one. Golly, was it the Freeman? Might be the Gerber Freeman. Look that up. With the gut hook. I think that's the name of it. It's been a while. It's like I said, it's in the bug out bag. Anyway, the one that I'm most happiest with that I was given, it's got to be my Cold Steel, the OSS. Again, this was actually my first Cold Steel. This one I really haven't used either. I had this in a knife case similar to that one. Actually, it was that knife case, but it was I had this one in there with my Cold Steel Marauder buoy. These AUS 8A, cool knife, double-sided. It was totally illegal when I bought it, but of course now it's legal. I'm not going to carry this thing, but it's again, it's special memories because it was my first Cold Steel knife. You can see it's never been used. It's been on display for the most part. I do use fixed blades, but not this one. I really don't have any practical use for that unless I'm gonna stick some pigs. One of these days, I hope to get to hope to do some boar hunting. That pig might get stuck. Anyway, let's see here. Number 8. What is my favorite brand? That's tough. That kind of depends on the year. Like I said, like everyone else, we all start with with what we've got. Sometimes it was Benchmade. Before that, had old timer knives. I've had case knives. Uncle Henry, stuff like this. This one was actually given to me as well. I've had this one. This is probably one of the older knives that I've got. But things like that. Are always cool knife brands. Microtech is a great knife brand. I can't say it's my favorite because I really only have one Microtech. So if I had to boil it down to one favorite knife brand, I'd have to say zero tolerance because my favorite knife is my 0452 tie. And I've got a lot of ZTs. So as far as the brand, I'd have to say that's my favorite. Not everyone's going to agree with that, but that's just me. Ask me again in another year, and it might change. Let's see. Number 9. What are your thoughts on custom knives? I don't know any custom knives. I've held a few. And most of them, of course, they were fixed blades. I really don't know too many custom knife makers who make folding knives. Got what they call custom. It's not by fancy knife makers or anything like this. It's this right here is olive wood handle. It's supposed to be Damascus, but who knows? They say it was custom, but that it wasn't necessarily a reputable dealer or anything that I got that from. I got that one, and I've got this one here with the buffalo horn handle. Same knife. Yeah, I've had these in a display case as well. Kind of had them together. So they're not necessarily custom, but that was the description, and they were handmade by some guy in Pakistan, basically, but not like a custom knife as we've all come to know them as here in the United States. I don't know. One of these days when I get some extra money, I may go out and buy a custom knife. Buddy of mine, he's got a guy, Bull, I believe it's Bull Custom Knives or something like that, and he's showing me some pretty cool ones that he's gotten. But anyway, they're not mine, so I can't really say. But custom knives are cool. A little expensive, I think, for some of the materials that I've seen used. Like people are paying hundreds of dollars for some D2 steel, and things like that. So if it's worth it to you, then it's worth it. But that's my take right now on custom knives. Let's see. Number 10. What knife would you like to buy? Grail knife. Can't think of the specific knife right now. There's a couple of Microtechs that I'd like. Some of the MRCANDER000 custom knives are badass, and I'd like to try some of those. Olamic. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. There are some pretty cool Olamic knives that I'd like to get. They're etching, and the designs that they've got on their handles are awesome. They've got some beautiful knives. So yeah, I'd say one of the MRCANDER000 custom knives, or just MRCANDER000 knife period, and Olamic are probably some of the Grail knives that I'd like to get. If I'd written it down the answers first, I'd probably be able to tell you specifically what knife I'd like to get, but that I'm sure that changed because I know I haven't seen them all. So once I get $1,000 or something like that to spend on a knife, then I'll be more specific. Let's see, number 11. What knife is in the pocket right now? I actually just pulled out my Microtech from my pocket, so this is the one that I've got in my pocket right now. So yeah, that was a quick, easy question. And let's see, finally, number 12. What knife YouTube channels do you watch and have influenced you the most? This one I actually wrote down because when I was kind of writing it down, my mind went blank, as far as some of the ones that I watch. I don't really watch all of them anymore. There are probably two that I actually watch currently. But I did write down all the ones that influenced me over the years. I'd say the first one, and this one this channel I do still watch, and it's Dutch bushcraft knives. It's kind of a guilty pleasure, Mickey and Martin, those Dutch guys are freaking hilarious, man. And I actually learned a lot about sharpening knives from their older videos. Also, that's kind of where I discovered, Bark River knives. I've got some pretty cool Bark River knives. Mora knives. I've got some decent Mora knives, and so yeah, those guys actually influenced me a lot. As far as some of my favorite Mora knives, I know this wasn't a question, but I've got the the 125 anniversary. This knife right here. It's a stainless steel Mora knife. But man, this thing is scalpel sharp, and I really don't have to sharpen this thing. And I've actually not necessarily used it, but I've whittled some stuff with this, and I put down some boiled linseed oil on the handle. So it's an awesome knife. Another 125-year anniversary special. This Mora companion here, and so anyway, yeah, Dutch bushcraft knives. I've learned a lot from those guys, and they, I still watch them, every Thursday. So it is what it is. Those guys are hilarious. They moved on to more expensive knives these days, and they're still doing knife destruction videos. They're not really doing sharpening videos or anything like that anymore. They've gone big time. But yeah, I still check those guys out. Let's see here. Coming up, I've got Kevin Cleary. I watch a lot of Kevin Cleary videos. Wrangle Star, Blade HQ, Birdshot IV, Advanced Knife, bro. That dude's hilarious. He's got the driest sense of humor, and he's hilarious. I still check him out every now and then. Keith Kevin Ken, no big influence. That guy's got the best knife collection that you've ever seen. You need to check him out. And last but not least, Nick Shabazz. Nick Shabazz, he's, when I was first getting, not first getting into knives, but as far as taking them apart and things like that, I've watched plenty of Nick Shabazz videos, and I learned a lot about, using different types of Loctite. Blue Loctite, by the way, it's the only one that I use. Opening knives up and things like that. But anyway, that's my 12 interview question. Thanks for watching.